Welcome everyone to Pontos, Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 4 of Cthulhu Wars. We're calling this season Where Sterile Twilight Reigns, and we'll basically be playing all 4 factions, including the Azathoth expansion. So we're getting the game board set up in fast forward mode here with the faction cards. We're getting all of the initial spells for each faction set up. I'm going to just keep the main minis for each of the faction, the great old ones for each faction, as well as for the Azathoth neutral factions. We'll get Azathoth in the different pieces, and we'll walk through each of those. We've got the Doom track, we've got the Ritual track. We'll also set up the main map with starter gates and initial cultists for each of the factions, and then we'll kind of go through the overall setups for each of them, and we'll jump into gameplay. So thanks a lot for joining. Let's finish through the setup, and then we can jump right into the gameplay. Thanks a lot for watching. Okay, so let's work ourselves through the Cthulhu Wars Season 4 setup. We'll review the minis that we've got there, the factions, and then we'll jump into turn 1. First off, we've got the Azathoth expansion set on the board, which are neutral faction, and we've got the 4 factions. So we'll go through them quickly. We've got Crawling Chaos, and I'll showcase these minis here. This is Nyarlathotep. We've got the Black Goat. You guys can go check out. This is one of the first miniature painting videos I did back during the pandemic. We've got Great Cthulhu, massive minis. This is a huge mini favorite game. And Yellow Sign with Hastur here. So we got the 4 factions set up. We've got their cultists on the board. Hastur's Yellow Sign starting in Europe. A Black Goat in West Africa. South Asia has Lang, Plateau of Lang is for Crawling Chaos, and Cthulhu out in the South Pacific in Rilliet. Then we've got our neutral factions from the Azathoth set. We've got Azathoth himself, and I am looking to pick up a copy of the Demon Sultan Azathoth. I believe it's as a playable faction. So if you guys know of one that's out there, you have a link, or you have one that you want to sell, please go ahead and comment below, and I'd love to pick one of those up. I think that they're out there. I'll go check Board Game Geeks, but yeah, that would be great. So we also have Elder Thing, the Elder Thing. Now each of these neutral factions, as you guys may know, they can be chosen by any faction during the Doom phase, and you can use it in place of one of your own factions. We also have, and I'll show you those next, the Dimensional Shambler. These guys are quite frightening. The Servitor of the Outer Gods, the flute-playing servitors that keep Azathoth sleeping. And then finally, the Star Vampires. This one has got a victim in his clutches. So those are the 4 factions. Those are the 5 potential neutral monsters that we can pick. We also have neutral spells that you can take. Any faction can take these spells in replacement for their own spells. So let's kind of go through the spells quickly. We'll just go by Crawling Chaos has got Seek and Destroy, Abduct, Instability, Emissary of the Outer Gods, and Madness in 1,000 forms. So those are the Crawling Chaos spells. Black Goat's spells are Groth, the Red Sign, Blood Sacrifice, Necrophagy, Frenzy, and the 1,000 Young. And those 1,000 Young, I kind of like the Dark Young minis. We'll get those out on the board. We'll showcase all the minis as we go through, and you guys can always go and check out that mini painting that we did way back. For Great Cthulhu, we have Devolve, Regenerate, Absorb, Nithle, Dreams, and Submerge. And for Yellow Sign, we have the Shriek of the Byaki, the Zingaya, the Screaming Dead, the Third Eye, He Who Is Not to Be Named, Passion. And we also have, with yellow sign, we've got these tokens, defilement tokens. I believe they're called defiling tokens that you can play as well. The yellow sign has, I believe they're called, desecration tokens. That's what it is, desecration tokens. And yeah, so we've got that. There's also the Azathoth spell, which is the Nuclear Chaos. This is the spell that you get when you activate Azathoth, and it's played on the Azathoth board. So we will get through to that. We've got our stack of gates. Ritual track is set up for the 4-player game. We also have the Doom track set up. So we're ready to get into round 1. Quickly, I want to get the inspiration for the title of this season 4. If we go out to the Azathoth Lovecraft, this is a edition of complete and unabridged fiction of Lovecraft that I picked up years ago from Barnes and Noble. It's a nice copy. It's my go-to reading copy that I've got here. It's well worn, but it's got everything here. I kind of like the typography of it, and the font and the pages are nice. It's been well gone through. But I just came across this. Of the name and abode of this man, but little is written. For there were of the waking world only. Yet it is said that they both were obscure. It is enough to know that he dwelt in a city of high walls, where sterile twilight reigned, and that he toiled all day through shadow and turmoil, coming home at evening to a room whose one window opened not unto the field and groves, but on a dim court where other windows stared in dull despair. From that casement one might see only walls and windows, except sometimes when one leaned far out and peered aloft in the small stars that passed, and became mere walls and windows, must soon drove to madness a man who dreams and reads much. The dweller of that room used night after night to lean out and peer aloft, to glimpse some fragment of things beyond the waking world in the greyness of tall cities. And after years he began to call the slow-sailing stars by name, and to follow them in fancy, where they glided regretfully out of sight, till at length his vision opened to many secret vistas, whose existence no common eye suspects. And one night a mighty gulf was bridged, and the dream-haunted skies swelled down to the lonely watcher's window to merge with the closed air of his room and make him part of their fabulous wonder. That's from Azathoth by Lovecraft. Just a little inspiration reading to get us prepped. So we've got the board mainly set up, ready to jump into turn number 1. Before we do that, quick shout out to our sponsor, Pontos Fathom Press. We're playing this Azathoth 4 Cult Season 4 to sort of celebrate the final publishment of the 3rd volume of the Disclosure from Necronomicon Fragment, The Alchemy of Azathoth. It's available out there. You can check out the bookstore link below. You can also check it out on Lulu, Amazon, wherever fine books are sold. We've also got Necromancy of Nyarlathotep and Hermeticism of Hastur. Speaking of Hermetic, each of these is a standalone volume, although they all do go together. You can start with any one of them, so if you've got your favorite great old one, you can jump in there. If you want to get all 3, by all means do. Check out the bookstore. It helps us to support the channel. We also have another podcast channel out there, Pontos Fathom Press Podcast. I am in the process of working on turning the first year of podcasts into a book series. So these will be coming out throughout the year. So we give you updates down on our Patreon if you want to join there. We also have, for Patreon members, some editions of Moldenhauer's Genealogy of Cthulhu is out there. You can go check that out for as little as $1 a month. So that'd be great to help support us. And as usual, liking, subscribing this video, ringing the bell. It all helps us to grow the channel. 2023, Happy New Year, everyone. Let's grow the channel, get to 1,000 viewers, and monetize. And with that, I will leave you guys to click on round 1, and we will jump into gameplay. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the game. If you are coming at this later than around New Year's, you can just play the playlist and run them all the way through. If you're just watching this as they go live, obviously you'll have to wait till each one gets released. So thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next turn. Take care. Bye-bye.